Hi, in this video we are going to talk about the unit circle. The unit circle has a radius of 1 and it gives us 3 angles in each of its quadrants and their corresponding x and y coordinates. So in the first quadrant, it gives us the angle 30, 45, 60 and their respective x and y coordinates. So when our radius is not forming any angle, when it's 0 degrees, our point or our x and y coordinate is 1, 0, where the first number in a bracket is x and the second number in our bracket is the coordinate y. So when the radius is forming angle 30, our coordinates are square root 3 over 2, comma 1 over 2. When it's forming an angle of 45 degrees, it's square root 2 over 2, comma square root 2 over 2. And when it's forming the angle 60 degrees, it's 1 over 2, comma square root 3 over 2. So as you can see from the coordinates, that our y value is going up with the increasing angle. So here 1, square root 2, square root 3. So it's going up, so we can say that y goes up, so yup. That's a way to remember the coordinates in a unit circle. And since y is going up, x has to come down. So x is coming down. So it's square root 3, square root 2, square root 1, 3, 2, 1. So it's coming down with the increasing angle. So this is how I remember the coordinates of our angles in unit circle. Now, since we were talking about quadrant 1, so in quadrant 1, we have, so this is the quadrant 1. So our x-axis is positive, our y-axis is positive, so all our coordinates are positive. Now, this is our quadrant 2. Here, we have positive y-axis, but we have negative x-axis. So here, all of our x values are negative. They're same, but they're negative. X is negative, y is positive. But the numbers are same. So for 30 degrees, it's same as the 30 degree in quadrant 1. For 45 degrees, it's same as 45 degrees in quadrant 1. And in quadrant 2, 60 degrees is same as 60 degrees in quadrant 1, just with the negative x value. So our x value is negative. So in our quadrant 3, this is our quadrant 3. Our x value is negative. Our y value are negative because we are on the negative y and x axis. So it's negative x and negative y. This is for quadrant 3. For quadrant 4, we have negative, so positive x, but negative y. Positive x, but negative y. As you can see, the numbers are still the same for each of our coordinates. It's just the signs are different. So in first coordinate, both are positive. The second coordinate, our x is negative, but y is positive. In our third coordinate, both of our values are negative. And in our fourth coordinate, x is positive, but y is negative. Now, this was about unit circle. Now we'll see how we can solve these trigonometric function using our unit circle. So what's the sine of 30 degrees? Now we know sine is equal to SOHCAHTOA, so opposite over hypotenuse. And hypotenuse here is the radius, and we know our radius is 1. So opposite is the y-axis. So here sine 30, y is half, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 1. So it's 1 over 2. So that's our sine 30. Now, for our cos 135 degrees, we have to find the angle on which. First we have to see which quadrants is 135 forming on. So here we know that 90 degree is less than 135 degrees, which is less than 180 degrees. So this is the 90 degree angle and this one's 180 degrees. So we know that our 135 degree angle is somewhere in quadrant 2. So it's in quadrant 2. So if it's in quadrant 2, we have a formula to find out the reference angle so that we can find which of the angle it forms in the quadrant 2. So here, the formula we have is 180 degrees minus theta. So 180 degrees minus theta, which is 135, gives us 45 degrees. So it's forming 45 degrees in our quadrant 2. So on second quadrant, it's forming 45 degrees. So we know it's this one. So from the origin, it's forming 135, but as a reference angle, it's forming 45 degrees. Now it's asking cosine 135. So cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So our adjacent is going to be our x-axis. So minus square root 2 over 2. That's the answer. Now, tangent 240 degrees. So for this one, first we have to see which quadrant is it located in if we're trying to solve it using this unit circle. So here, we know it's greater than 180 degrees. 240 is greater than 180 degrees, but it's less than 270, which divides the third and fourth quadrant. So we know it's somewhere between third quadrant because 180 is here, 270 is here. It's greater than 180, but less than 270. Now, for that, all we have to do is find out what's the reference angle on the quadrant 3. So here, the formula we can use is 240 minus 180 degrees. So theta minus 180 gives us 60 degrees. Now, we know that it forms 60 degrees on our quadrant 3, since it's greater than 180 but less than 270. So it's somewhere in quadrant 3 and it forms 60 degrees. Now, tangent, it's adjacent over, it's opposite over adjacent. So opposite here, quadrant 3 here, and we're talking about 60 degrees. So opposite is the y-axis and adjacent is the x-axis. So y is minus square root 3 over 2 times that by minus 2 over 1. So here we got cancelled. And our answer is going to be square root 3. So our tangent to 40 degrees is equal to square root 3. Now, sine 330 degrees. So first we have to locate our 330 degrees on our unit circle. So 330 degrees is greater than 270. So here is the 270 and it's less than 360. So we have to remember that this one is 360, this angle is 90, this angle is 180, and this angle is 270. So when if it's greater than 270 and less than 360, it means it's somewhere in quadrant 4. So we know that it's in quadrant 4. Now, since it's on quadrant 4, we have to find out what reference angle it makes in the quadrant 4. So to find that out, we have to subtract it by 360. So 360 and subtract that angle, and then we're going to find which reference angle it makes in quadrant 4, and we get 30 degrees. So it makes 30 degrees in quadrant 4. Now what's the sign? Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, and hypotenuse, of course, 1. So in angle 30 degrees from quadrant 4, the opposite is the y-axis, so minus half, and that's the answer. So our sine 330 degrees is minus half. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching.